Few stories have been told about domestic violence, and we are here to change that. Welcome back to Let's Talk with me. It's Miss Carter, and let's get the conversation going. Violence in relationships, they happen mostly in relationships that are intimate, interdependent, mostly family. And this is a place where one is supposed to feel the safest, but this is where we find ourselves more exposed to this kind of abuses. Okay? And violence happens in two types. There's the physical and there's the emotional. And most times stories that we get to hear are about the physical part, because with physical, you wear the scars all over your body. But when it comes to the emotional bit of it, you find that the witness is the victim themselves. So it becomes a, your word against mine kind of situation. So most cases about emotional abuse, they're not really told, okay? But as I said, we are here to change that. So, yes, when you're in an abusive relationship, most of the time people tend to ask you, why you didn't leave? Why were you there for that long? And you may not really understand what that question means, but most of the time it's like you're telling the victim or the survivor that it is your fault. You went through what you went through. You see? But today's conversation, we're here to just encourage the people that are in such situations or the ones that have been able to come out, and also raising awareness, because domestic violence does not have a face. It can happen to anyone, irrespective of race, tribe. It can happen to anyone. And most of the time, we find that the conversation has been domestic violence is a woman's issue. But it is not. We find that even men are exposed to such. Okay, and these are the conversations that you want to have out there so that you can help the next person, be aware that these things are possible, and there's actually ways in which you can protect yourself and make sure that you come out of it stronger. Okay? Yes, so they do have patterns. There's a way one can identify an abusive relationship. So the first thing, when you're in an abusive relationship, it's not that you walked around profiling people looking for someone who can hurt you, and you were like, you know what, this is the one I want. No. Most of the time, you find that the person who is abusing you is someone to whom you would never have thought they would ever lay a hand on you. Whether physical or emotional, you never thought they would at any point harm you. Okay? Because the first thing that these people do is they charm you. They use seduction. Okay? They idolize you. Most of the time, they need you to feel like you're the dominant one. Okay? But all this, it's just a scheme. It's to get you comfortable. It's to get you to the love bit faster. Okay? You can find that someone who's in an abusive relationship, the first few months of that relationship, they'll tell you how much they were in love with that person or how it happened so fast. When in real sense, it is what these people were giving them. Okay? When you find someone who makes you feel at home, who listens to you, who understands you, it is easy for you to feel like you're actually in love with this person. Well, most of the time it could be out of gratitude, anything, okay? But the person, the abuser, leads you to believe that this is love, this is it. You're getting a fairy tale kind of love, something that you always fantasize about. This is the real deal, okay? So yes, when you're in a relationship with an abuser, they find out what your strengths are, what your gifts are, and what they do is they propel you to, growing them. They encourage you. They are your number one fan. Okay? You find that, just an example, if you're someone who probably writes, okay, your abuser will make you believe that you're the best at it. They will encourage you. They will talk about you to their friends. Like, she got skills, she's been writing for 35 years, so on and so forth. They will be your biggest cheerleader, and that is something very, very important when it comes to a relationship. So you find that you're warming up to them easily because of that. And after they have charmed you, they have idolized you, the next step is to gain your trust. Okay? You find that most abusers, they come from a line of childhood traumas that have not been resolved. So they will tell you about those stories, about their insecurities. Okay? They will portray the vulnerable side to you to let you trust them. And you see, the first instinct, when you sit down with a person and they tell you they've been through this kind of hell, this is what happened to them, the first thing that you will want to do is to become a parent to them. You will want to shield them. You will want to walk with them throughout that journey. You will want to see them better. You will want to see them forget what happened to them and actually live life without all that worry. Okay? So to gain this trust, and I'll tell you about something that happened. My parents were not there. My dad was never there when I was growing up. This and this happened. They never really supported me throughout school or whatever. They never really realized my dream. And it's just a dysfunctional family. Okay? And you, as their partner, you would want to make them feel safe. So once you get to a place of trust, they have already trusted you with their innermost. You will also reciprocate the same. You will end up trusting them and letting them in. If you had your walls up there, you will get them down to include this person. Okay? And don't forget, you are madly in love with that person. Okay? So yes, they have gained your trust. Now what they do next is they isolate you. What does isolation mean? Like you're there at home, you're cooking dinner, and this person just comes home and is like, you know what? I am going to chain you, and I want to take you to some cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere where nobody will hear you scream, where nobody will hear your cries, where you won't even be told to people. No, it doesn't happen like that. Okay? This is someone to whom you have trusted with your everything. This is someone to whom you feel safe with. Okay? So they can come to you with a narrative like, I had a conversation with my parents and they just don't understand this relationship anymore. They're not in support of it. And I don't want to listen to them because I know how to build my life with you. So why don't we just go away? Let's go to a town where nobody knows us. Let's go start up fresh. Let's go build a life together, get kids. We can do some fishing and all those kind of stuff. We can even start a business. That's the kind of narrative they'll come to you with. Okay? Just they don't apply force at that point. They've already established the trust. So you have no reason to doubt their intention. Actually, you will be elated because, wow, this is someone who's actually dropping everything to be with me, for me, to start a life with me. Why not? Let's go. So yes, they isolate you. And that is a physical isolation. But you find that in that situation, they will, most of the time, they want you to behave in a manner that best suits them. I already cut off my people. You should do the same. Okay? So when it gets to a place where you feel like your partner is, making sacrifices, you will also be obliged to do the same. You will make your own sacrifices. So you would find that the friends you used to have, people you used to talk to, you don't have them anymore. So your circle has reduced to you and this person. Okay? So that is actually a very important tactic because when it comes to violence, domestic violence, the one way it's right is in science. You find that most of the people who've got through this, they don't talk about it. The ones who survive, they do not share their stories. So what the abuser wants is to put you in a place where you cannot have that conversation. You cannot tell anyone what is happening behind closed doors. Okay? They want that narrative to be between the two of you. Okay? So by reducing the people that you talk to, friends, keeping you in a place where you do not have interaction with other people, they make sure that your voice is not heard. Okay? And there's also the bit of when I hit you, when you scream, nobody should hear. Okay? So yes. And there's cycles. Okay? When you're in an abusive relationship, they don't just hit you or abuse you every time. There's a cycle. There's how it starts and there's how it ends. So the first thing is the tension. Okay, I lost my job, or probably they haven't paid me, or there was this client who was giving me a hard time. They wanted this, but it wasn't there. Such kind of story. So they're frustrated because of that. So there's a lot of tension in the house. And you find that since you know how this person reacts, you find that you're walking on eggshells. You do not want to trip them. Okay, so it starts from that tension. There's just a level of tension in the house. And one way or the other, this tension has got to be released. So the next stage in that cycle is the action itself. This is where now they abuse you, whether emotionally or physically. They will hurl insults at you. They will ridicule you. They will harass you. They will dig into your deepest insecurities and use those to make you feel bad about yourself. Okay? And the physical, they will hit you. They will run your head against the wall. They will use knives and just about anything just to get that tension of them. Okay? The third step is the delusion. And that is one of the worst stages, because this is where I feel like it is my fault. I did this. I wore that short dress and I know he doesn't like it, so that's why he hit me. I received that call from my mom. I know he doesn't like my mom or she doesn't like my mom, but I went ahead and picked that call. So it is my fault. I probably deserve all that. Okay? Maybe he's not even as bad as I think. It is because of me, I'm the one who triggered them. So you're just delusional. Okay? You are in your head. And then there comes the reconciliation. This is whereby they come and they start using outside factors to justify their actions. It is because of that delay check. It is because of that car that I told you about. It is because of the car. It broke down and I do not have money to fix it. That is why I'm so upset. And when you said whatever you said, it triggered me. Okay? It made me feel some type of way. And I just acted out of impulse. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. And when it comes to, a begging for forgiveness or showing remorse, abusers are the best at it. It's like a craft, something they have mastered. Okay? They will go down on their knees, they will beg you, they will cry to you. Okay? They will call their sisters or their brothers to give you a call to tell you that they're not really like that is just something that happens to them. It's a conversation. Okay? They are the best at saying sorry. And you see, at this point, you are at a place where you feel you're 50-50. It is my fault. I made him do that. So the reconciliation part happens smoothly and fast. Okay? Then there is the calm. The calm is whereby you see, with the reconciliation, they're getting you gifts and all that, and this actually triggers the brain to release hormones like dopamine. This makes you feel a little bit closer to your partner, okay, or to this person. Okay, so it aids in the reconciliation process. Now the calm is where you actually no, I kind of exaggerated this. He wasn't that bad. He didn't hit without much. You see, the blood isn't that visible, okay? So you're making excuses for this person, and you're actually trying to get back to these people. You're trying to get things to normal. So when you're justifying their actions, you just want things to go back to normal. Like, we are okay, it didn't happen, it was my fault, I triggered him, so on and so forth. And after that, the cycle starts again. We go back to tension, it will be something different. He hits you this time. Last time it was just a snap. This time he will run your head against the wall, or he will just throw you off the stairs. Something. Okay? So the cycle continues and continues. And now when I talk about delusional being the hardest part is you will continue making excuses for this person. You will talk about the trauma that they introduced in the beginning of that relationship to justify their actions. It is because of what his daddy did to him or what his mommy did to him that he's doing this to me, or it's because of her daddy issues that she's acting like this to me. Okay? And then, since your instinct is to become a pirate, you will try your best to shield them. Every time they hit you or they attack you, you will make excuses and you will continue praying that this person will change. They will get better. That phase will be over and you will live happily ever after. But the worst and final stage of domestic violence is where the victim actually loses his or her life. Because at this point, the accuser has nothing to lose. We've already experienced everything. I have hit you not once, not twice. What's the worst that I can do? Hit you. What do I have to lose? Probably nothing. Okay? And when death is not the final stage, you find that survivors go through stalking for the rest of their lives. Okay? So you'll have to leave a knife just looking over your shoulder in case they're probably back. And if you listen to a survivor story, they'll tell you that years after the breakup, they had episodes where they used to feel like the abuser was there, watching over them, or following them around, such kind of stuff. So this is not something that just ends when you walk out that door. It is something that you have to leave and learn to forget, to grow from it, okay? But most times, people actually lose their lives. And that is what we're trying to change today. Okay, you can find that you have a sister or a friend who is in their 20s and they found themselves in their first relationship and it actually became abusive. As I've said, there are stages that you can actually look at and know this is an abusive relationship. From how they behave, from how they talk on the phone when you're, talking to them, you can tell something is not okay. And when you encourage a victim to talk it out, okay, not to hide under what they're going through, that is the fast way to help them. Because once you get out of your head and realize, what? I am actually in an abusive relationship. This man or this woman will actually kill you one day. There is no limit to what they can actually do to me. So once they open their eyes and they realize that this is it and it is bad, now they start working towards actually getting out of it. And most of the time they will find someone they trust, like probably a sibling or a parent, and start talking about it. He hit me the first time. He did this. This is what happened. It escalated to this. And I really do not want to live like this. Okay? And yes, that is how you start giving them help. When you're there, when their voice is being heard, when you're actually working towards protecting them, that is the best way into recovery. And as I said in the beginning, when you ask a victim, why didn't you leave? It is like, most of the time it's like you're telling them, it is your fault. Okay? The man that you were dating is 5 feet tall, and you're 8 feet tall. Why couldn't you hit him back? Why couldn't you do something non-martial arts or, just something? Hit him with a ball. Just try something. Why were you just there? It didn't happen the first time. It happened over 20 times. What were you doing? Counting? You see, that is how it usually comes off. And when you put a victim in a place where they feel like whatever narrative they have cannot really be understood by someone else, you actually encourage them to keep it to themselves. And that is what we do not want. We want people to talk about their experiences. We want these people, the abusers, to get what they deserve. Okay? There is help for people. If you find yourself in a situation where this is affecting you mentally, there is help. Okay? So that is what we're trying to stop. We don't want people to continue living in fear, because even after you leave that relationship, there's something called trauma. Okay? You will find yourself reacting to simple things because of what you went through. Someone is trying to give you a high five, but you're busy shielding yourself because you think they're going to hit you. Because every time someone raised a hand on you, it was because they wanted to hit you. So that's the only thing, Okay? So you find that they have trauma. It is a journey. They have to go through therapy and deal with all this, okay? And to also become a positive person to the next person, because you find that whoever can't you or whatever scars that you have from your past, you'll find that you'll be subjecting the next person to all that pain. And they're not responsible. Okay, this is just someone new who came into your life, but they're still paying for something someone else did. So that's why therapy is important. So the question should not be about, why didn't you leave? It should be about, wow, you're actually here. You're stronger than before. You survived that. That's amazing. Okay? It should be about empowering them to continue speaking about it, to continue telling the next person, to help build a secure and safe community. Okay? Where people can strive and be happy in their relationships or even in their families. Because as I said, it happens in intimate, interdependent kind of settings. Okay? So it could happen even in your home. Probably it's your sister or your brother who's raised you. Okay? And then there's also another bit that comes when you navigate to pick someone. So they're everywhere. Let's create awareness. Let's create a safe space where people can talk about their ordeals and where we can actually get them the help that they need. So if you're going through this, it is not over. There's something that you can do about it, and there's help for you. There is life after this. Because you find that most of the time, victims feel like there's nothing that they can do about it. Like I said earlier, you're in your 20s, this is the first relationship, and it's turned out to be like that. When someone loves you after it, will you be able to look at another woman or another man again the same way again? Will you be able to love, to experience now? Will someone be able to love you with all your scars? Okay? That is the kind of situation these people are in. So we're supposed to be making it better, not making it worse. So if you have someone, just check on them. You might not have seen the stages and the signs. Just talk to them. Just, how are you doing? And actually mean the question. How are you doing? Are you okay? If I'm not okay, what can we do about it? Can we talk about this? Can we meet up over coffee and just, discuss and see what we can do about it? That is the right way to go. So yes, let's not be silent. Let's create a narrative that we're going to push to help the other person. So thank you for joining me kindly. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.